Humanity has always been captivated by the possibility that we are not alone. From the earliest myths of gods descending from the heavens to modern UFO reports, people across cultures and centuries have described encounters with mysterious beings or objects in the sky. These stories vary in detail and credibility, but together they form a fascinating record of how humans interpret the unknown. Some are easily explained by natural phenomena or cultural imagination, while others remain stubbornly mysterious. In this episode, we explore some of the most famous cases of alleged alien contact in history, stories that continue to shape our understanding of what contact might mean. Our journey begins in the 16th century with one of the earliest mass sightings ever recorded. On April 14th, 1561, the citizens of Nuremberg, Germany, looked up to see the sky filled with strange shapes: spheres, crosses, tubes, and rods of light, many of them appearing to clash as though in combat. A contemporary woodcut illustration shows dozens of these objects streaking across the heavens. Witnesses claim the battle lasted for hours, ending with crashes outside the city and a dark object rising from the smoke. In the religious culture of the time, this was interpreted as a divine omen. To modern eyes, however, the account reads like a description of aerial vehicles fighting in the sky. Skeptics suggest atmospheric phenomena like sundogs or optical illusions. Yet the sheer number of witnesses and the detailed documentation make the Nuremberg event one of the earliest and most compelling mass UFO sightings in history. Just a few years later, in 1566, another event was recorded in Basel, Switzerland. Over several days, townspeople reported seeing dark spheres moving rapidly through the sky, sometimes gathering in groups and colliding. Pamphlets from the time described the objects as if they were fighting one another, blotting out the sun. Historians note that this was published in serious chronicles of the day, not just rumors. As in Nuremberg, some explanations point to unusual solar phenomena or meteor activity. But for others, Basel represents another early account of unexplained aerial technology. Together, the Nuremberg and Basel sightings suggest that stories of strange sky battles are not a modern invention. They have been with us for centuries. Jump ahead to April 1897, when the small town of Aurora, Texas, became the site of one of the most legendary UFO tales in America. A local newspaper reported that a mystery airship struck a windmill, exploded, and scattered debris across a farm. Most intriguingly, townsfolk allegedly found the body of a small humanoid, being described as not of this world. They buried it in the local cemetery with Christian rites. For decades, the story was dismissed as folklore. But in the 1970s, UFO researchers investigated, interviewing elderly residents who recalled hearing about the crash. Metal detectors reportedly picked up anomalies near the supposed grave, though later attempts to exhume it were blocked. Some argue the story was a hoax to attract attention to a declining town. Yet others believe Aurora may represent the first Roswell long before the mid-20th century. The legend continues to attract curiosity seekers, and the town has even embraced the story as part of its identity. Of course, the most famous case of all is the Roswell Incident of 1947. In early July, rancher Mac Brazel discovered strange debris, metallic sticks, foil-like sheets, and rubber-like strips on his land near Roswell, New Mexico. The U.S. Army Air Forces initially issued a press release claiming they had recovered a flying disc, but just one day later, they retracted the statement, insisting it was only a weather balloon. This sudden reversal sparked endless speculation. Over time, Roswell grew into the central myth of UFO culture. Witnesses later claimed alien bodies were recovered. Conspiracy theories suggested a massive cover-up, with the US government hiding crashed spacecraft and technology. Official reports in the 1990s explained the debris as part of Project Mogul, a top-secret balloon system designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Still, the inconsistencies in testimony, the original press release, and the secrecy surrounding the case fuel suspicion to this day, Roswell has become a cultural symbol, either of actual alien contact or of humanity's distrust in authority. If Roswell was the beginning of the UFO age, the abduction of Barney and Betty Hill in 1961 launched the era of alien abduction stories. Driving through rural New Hampshire, the Hills reported seeing a bright light that followed their car. They experienced missing time, and under hypnosis later recalled being taken aboard a craft. Betty described beings with large eyes who conducted medical examinations. She also recalled being shown a star map of the being's home system. Years later, amateur astronomers claimed the map matched the Zeta Reticuli star system. The Hill story was widely publicized in books and media, and it introduced tropes that became standard in later abduction accounts, medical experiments, telepathic communication, and missing time. Skeptics attribute the case to stress, dreams, or cultural influences. But believers argue that the consistency of their accounts and Betty's star map remain unexplained. Another compelling case occurred in Rendlesham Forest, England, in December 1980. Over 2 nights, US Air Force personnel stationed at a nearby base reported strange lights in the woods. Some claimed to see a triangular craft with glowing symbols. Sergeant Jim Peniston reported touching the craft and receiving a telepathic download of binary code. Deputy Base Commander Charles Hult recorded audio during his investigation, describing moving lights and unusual radiation readings. The British Ministry of Defence later dismissed the case as misidentified stars and a lighthouse. But dozens of trained military witnesses, physical traces on the ground, and official reports make Rendlesham one of the most well-documented UFO incidents in history. To this day, it is sometimes referred to as Britain's Roswell. Perhaps one of the most extraordinary mass encounters took place in 1994 at the Ariel School in Roswell, Zimbabwe. During recess, more than 60 children reported seeing a silver disc land in a nearby field. They described small beings with large heads and big eyes who approached the playground. Many children claimed the beings communicated telepathically, warning about humanity's environmental destruction. Investigators, including Harvard psychiatrist John Mack, interviewed the children individually. Their stories were remarkably consistent and emotionally charged. Even decades later, many of the children, now adults, stand by their accounts. Critics suggest the event was a case of mass hysteria or cultural influence. Yet the scale, the number of witnesses, and the depth of their conviction make Ariel one of the most striking encounters in recent history. There are other cases that deserve mention. In 1973, 2 fishermen in Pascagoula, Mississippi, claimed they were abducted by strange robotic beings while fishing at night. They described creatures with claw-like hands and carrot-shaped heads. Their story was met with ridicule, but both men stuck to their testimony for the rest of their lives, even passing polygraph tests. In 1997, the Phoenix Lights were witnessed by thousands of people in Arizona, a massive V-shaped formation of lights silently gliding across the sky. While the US military later claimed the lights were flares, many witnesses insist what they saw was far larger and more coordinated than any flare drop. And in 2004, US Navy pilots from the USS Nimitz encountered the now famous Tic Tac objects off the coast of California. These objects, captured on infrared video, moved with incredible speed and acceleration, defying known physics. Trained pilots described them as unlike anything they had ever seen. The US government has since acknowledged these encounters as unidentified aerial phenomena, fueling serious debate within the scientific and defense communities. Taken together, these famous cases span centuries and continents. They involve everyday people, trained military personnel, children, and professionals. Some have physical evidence, official reports, or thousands of witnesses. Others are more anecdotal, but still resonate because of their vivid detail. What unites them is the sense of mystery. If even one of these cases represents genuine contact, then human history is far more extraordinary than we realize. Skeptics point out that many cases can be explained by natural phenomena, misidentifications, hoaxes, or psychological factors. The Nuremberg Sky Battle may have been optical illusions. Aurora may have been a newspaper hoax. Roswell could indeed have been Project Mogul. The Hills abduction might have been a dream influenced by science fiction. Rendlesham could have been misperceptions of lights. The Phoenix lights might have been flares. And yet, the stubborn persistence of these stories, the sincerity of the witnesses, and the occasional supporting data leave just enough uncertainty to keep the mystery alive. Culturally, these cases reveal a lot about us. In the 16th century, unexplained aerial phenomena were interpreted as religious omens. In the 19th century, they became airships in an era of ballooning and early aviation. In the 20th century, with the rise of science fiction and space exploration, they became flying saucers and extraterrestrials. Each era filters the unknown through its own lens, but the underlying experience, the sense of encountering something beyond human, remains constant. Philosophically, these cases challenge us. If they are real, they suggest we are being observed, visited, or even tested. If they are not, they show how powerful our need for connection is, how we project our hopes and fears onto the sky. Either way, they remind us that the question of whether we are alone is not just scientific, it is deeply human. As we continue to search for life with telescopes, satellites, and scientific instruments, these famous stories remain as cultural landmarks. They may one day be seen as myths, or as the first scattered evidence of something much larger. For now, they invite us to keep an open mind. Perhaps contact has already happened, just not in ways we expected. Or perhaps these cases are the whispers before the revelation. Until the truth is known, the Nuremberg Battle, the Aurora crash, Roswell, the Hills, Rendlesham, Ariel, Pascagoula, Phoenix, and the Tic Tac encounters will remain milestones in humanity's long fascination with the possibility of alien contact. The sky is quiet, but the stories endure. Each case, whether explained or not, pushes us to wonder, are we truly alone, or are we participants in a much greater cosmic drama? The answer may change everything. Until then, these famous alleged contacts remind us that the line between history and mystery is often thin, and that the search for others is, in the end, a search for ourselves.